Hello everyone, Ozzymitsu here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you another episode of my Evolution Solution series. Last time we looked at Clefairy and Clefable, and since you guys seem to have missed the Evolite comparisons, I thought I'd do another one. So today we're going to be looking at Evolite Misdreavus and Mismagius. If you're new here, my Evolution Solution series involves discussing, comparing and analysing Pokemon who are either part of the same evolutionary line or have some form of close-knit bond. If you want to familiarise yourself with the series as a whole, I've placed a link to the entire playlist in the description below. However, it'll also show up on the iCard on the top right hand corner of your screen for your convenience. Let's not waste any more time though, let's get this analysis underway. I'll begin with Misdreavus. Becky, do your thing.
Misdreavus, the Screech Pokemon. Misdreavus are extremely mischievous and like to cry out at night just to startle people.
As a first stage Pokemon, you'd think Misdreavus would be good in LC, but unfortunately it's illegal in this tier. But whatever, it's a pure ghost type Pokemon, which means it is weak to ghost and dark, whilst being immune to normal, fighting, and due to its only ability, is also immune to ground type moves. It resists poison and bug type moves. As a whole, it's a pretty solid typing. As mentioned before, it only gets access to one ability, which is Levitate. This essentially grants any Pokemon with this ability an immunity to ground type moves. Moving on to its stats, they're pretty respectable with a base 60 in its physical stats and a base 85 in its special stats, as well as speed, and with an effective EV spread can make Misdreavus a great special wall. I actually recently bred a Misdreavus because I wanted to try it out with Evolite, and I've had so much fun using it. The set I personally run is only suited for a double setting and is as followed: Will-O-Wisp, Hex, Pain Split, and Protect. The EV spread is max HP and max Spadef, and 4 EVs in special attack. I personally run the Calm Nature to boost your special defense and reduce your attack, which you won't be putting to use anyway. The idea here is to provide complete support for your team by burning potential physical attackers, and because you're quite bulky in special defense, you don't need to worry about those special attacks as much, unless it's from a Mega Gengar. Hex is just for your stab move, coupled with the fact that you have some special attack investment with the boost you get if you hit your foe with this whilst they're burnt. Pain Split is the closest thing you'll get as your recovery move other than rest, and this has come in clutch for me in so many battles. Finally, Protect, just to scout what your opponent is going to do next. I've had a lot of fun using Misdreavus with Garchomp as my ally, where I spam EQ, Misdreavus is unaffected by it and can fulfill its role as a support Pokemon. The only thing letting it down is that Knockoff, as it does with most Evolite users, shuts it down completely. As well as this, as it's a super effective physical move, even with the added bulk holding Evolite, Misdreavus won't appreciate a knockoff. Like, at all. In addition to this, due to its lack of recovery moves, if it is inflicted by a status condition, it won't be able to deal with that very well. This also makes it not as an effective support Pokemon as Chansey that gets access to an ability like Natural Cure, or defensive Pokemon that can make use of Heal Bell or Aromatherapy to really own the niche as a defensive supportive ally. However, with the introduction of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and the much needed tutor moves, it can learn Heal Bell, which can help, but is Misdreavus really that bulky for this move to be as effective as it would be on other Pokemon? And besides, it can be argued you don't need access to this move to do well holding Evolite, as Porygon 2 and Dusclops are examples of that. It just depends on what sort of style of defensive play you want to adopt. It's the 5 move slot syndrome, because I feel Protect is quite necessary for Misdreavus, especially in a double setting, so it's really hard to narrow down the most effective moveset in just 4 moves. When I was breeding my Misdreavus, I have boxes full of them, and I have one set in particular that I had in mind that I haven't tried out yet, but it seems like a lot of fun. Trick Room, Ominous Wind, Pain Split, and Toxic. I haven't quite worked out the EV spread, but my thoughts are basically using Trick Room for your lack of speed and spam Ominous Wind for the hopes of getting that scummy boost in each of your stats. Though if that's what you're banking on, Trick Room may not be the best option. A Rest Sleep Talk set could be on the table, so perhaps Dazzling Gleam as your other attacking move, or T-Bolt, it's completely up to you. Let's move on to Mismagius. Becky, what has it got going for it?
Mismagius, the magical Pokemon. Mismagius chants incantations, and while some cause misery, some can give happiness as well.
Mismagius evolved from Misdreavus when exposed to a Dawnstone. It shares the same typing as a pure ghost type, so the resistances, immunities and weaknesses remain exactly the same, and upon evolution retains the ability Levitate which honestly I'm thrilled about. Thank you Game Freak for not changing that. The real question is when to evolve your Misdreavus when you want a Mismagius. My advice would be to evolve it at level 55, because by then it learns Power Gem, so you don't need to waste your heart scales, though if you want a certain fiery move then you'll have to. Looking at its stats, they're in a similar format to its pre-evolution, just more evolved. Duh. Base 60 in its HP, physical attack and physical defense, and a base 105 in its special stats and speed, which is pretty decent. Mismagius, in my opinion, is a little more versatile than its pre-evolution because you can use it as a special sweeper, a somewhat special wall. A personal set that I used has worked for me is as followed. Shadow Ball, Power Gem, Dazzling Gleam, and Mystical Fire. The EV spread is max special attack, max speed, and 4 EVs in Spadef, opting for the timid nature. I actually tanked a Shadow Ball from a timid Mega Gengar with this set, though I was holding an Assault Vest, but that's still amazing. My reasoning for an Assault Vest is to adopt the role as a special wall, coupled with Shadow Ball having the chance of lowering your foe's special defense, which can come in really handy. Not only this, I really like Mystical Fire over the common T-Bolt because it's one of my favourite moves. Look at its animation! But also it guarantees a special attack drop every time it lands, which further sustains your already above special defense. However, I have seen some people run a Choice Spec set replacing Mystical Fire with T-Bolt for reliable coverage, which probably is a little bit more competitively viable, but I'm stuck in my ways and will rely on my current set. But you can also run a Focus Sash set in case you encounter any physical attackers and go for a cheeky Destiny Bond. But I don't really like relying on what ifs from your opponent. I prefer the comfort of knowing the damage I can inflict on my opponent. But that's just me. Reviewing the two from an analytic standpoint, I'm being diplomatic again, but they're indeed both great in their own right. Misdreavus making the perfect special wall, whilst providing great support for your entire team with Will-O-Wisp to cripple physical attackers and making up for your lackluster physical defences, as well as Heal Bell for further support, whilst Mismagius can also adopt the role of a special wall but has a usable special attack stat. Like I've said in the past, a massive problem Evilite users tend to have is that they're prone to being setup fodder, and Misdreavus is no exception of that. Although it can still cause a dent on your foe with Willow and Hex, but that's all it can do. Mismagius on the other hand has a comfort of holding an Assault Vest, Choice Specs, Life Orb, Focus Sash. The possibilities are endless, making it a little less predictable. The one thing I will say is that they both make use of their move pools and abilities just as well as one another, but I'd give the slight edge to Mismagius due to you having the freedom of choosing which item you can hold, whereas Misdreavus relies solely on Evilite, and if it's negated with knockoff or trick, you're pretty much redundant, and that added bulk investment is going to go to waste, as you cannot reasonably KO any of your threats. However, taking its competitive usefulness out of the question, it's really hard to choose as I love both of these Pokemon. Seriously, no, I really can't choose. What about you guys? Which of the two do you prefer? Be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know which one, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And on that note, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave it a big thumbs up, as that really does help me out, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel to become an Aussie Watt today. And with all of that being said, I'll see you guys very soon.